Terms and conditions. Legal notice. The publisher has strived to be accurate and complete as possible in the creation of the report, notwithstanding the fact that he does not warrant or represent at any time that the content within are accurate due to the rapidly changing nature of the internet. While all attempts have been made to verify information provided in this publication, the publisher assumes no responsibility for errors, omissions, or contrainterpretation of the subject matter herein. Any perceived slight of the specific person, people, or organizations are unintentionally. In practical advice book, like anything else in life, there are no guarantor of income mad. Reader are cautioned to rely on their own judgment about their individual circumstance to act accordingly. This book is not intended for use as a source of legal, business, accounting, or financial advice. All readers are advised to seek service of competent professional legal, business, accounting, and finance field. You are encouraging to print this book for easy reading. Table of content. Forward. Chapter 1. Home business tax basis. Chapter 2. Getting organized. Chapter 3. Calculate expenses. Chapter 4. Maximize deduction. Chapter 5. Claim your health insurance. Chapter 6. Track mileage. Chapter 7. Use retirement accountant. Chapter 8. Hire family members. Working forward. A lot of people today up to starting their one home based business on the popular as it is, there should be some thought given to tax break that one cannot enjoy through this form of business. Get all the info you need here. Business taxes. What you need to know about taxes for a home based business. Chapter 1. Home business tax basis. Synopsis. The following are some area worth looking into the again more insight to the real fact of the tax break one can enjoy. The basis. Keeping a business journal that concept of all the details of the item that the individual has the intention of submit of tax breaker would be done at the very onset of the business. Being able to answer the tax auditors with proper document proof can take a load of the stress and confuse that might be otherwise core. The more detailed the account, the easier the process will be when addressing any query. Using the workspace area as a tax deduction will also be something to consider, and this should be calculated accurately and to the ratio of the premises being used to other purposes such as a dwelling place of the individual. Any equipment that is being used of the purpose of conducting the business engine efficiently can also be focused into the tax deduction plan. This can be deducted in the original cost, incurred state and depreciation relax protected to be taken into account and claims on saving for retirement plans. Medical plan and social security deduction can also be giving tax break. The social security percentage can be calculated from the employer billing angle. Also can include deduction made for me any other assistance in the business. Entertainment can also be good area to consider for tax relief. Ensuring that entertainment is for business purpose and also to have the necessary backing proof would facilitate the smooth claiming procedure for use relief. Any tips taken a business proposal can also be used to gain some percentage of tax relief. However, there should be adequate documentation to substance the chapter 2 getting organized synopsis. Filing tax return need to be a frustrating experience if all the relevant documents are submitted along with the supporting claims for ex- exception and relief. Preparing the advance by keeping good record will make the process easier and smoother, thus easing possible trace level of the individual. Get to get it together. Perhaps the first thing to do is fix the tax forms or on time and not leave it into the minute where hundred of things can go wrong due to the rush to get things done. Having proper supporting documentation every step of the way is also together due point of this should be taken seriously. Ensuring all ID numbers are filled with the applications is also important as forgetting to include this can cause unnecessary delay the inconvenience. Being self-employed or having a home-based business requires a little more work in terms of filing tax return. All all corresponding documents should be able to support it with a relevant receipt, bills, sales slip, and any other business related experience notification. Area that can be considered for claim would include office equipment, mileage record, business entertainment, supply bought for the business, utility, and more many others which a tax claim offer can indicate. Using financial bank statement to make a comparison on the final dedication made the whether there are any discrepancies is another wide element to look into. Although most firms for saving have tax linked to it, there are ways that can help to file relief for such accounts. Mortgages are also another element that one can claim against when it comes to looking for tax relief. The payment made on the interest can be used to get added relief from tax payments. If the business entity decided to support any characters or other similar kinds of needs such as voluntary of a good cause, this can also be tax deduction platform for the individual. Chapter 3 Calculated Expenses Synopsis Reasonable deduction can be made for tax ex, exception reason or knowing how to do about making the right claim and filling them accordingly will help the individual keep the tax on the become business at a minimum. The output below are some area where calculating can be done by ensure the optimization exercise of tax relief for the home-based business entity. As in any other business, the element is significant to the success of the business. It contributes to the awareness campaign of the product and getting the attention of the relevant message for revenue earning purpose. Therefore, most business would require some sort of business advertising budget which is tax deductible. Business startup cost is also another tax deductible possibility. Keeping a well documented account of these expenses incurred will enable to individual to feel comprehensive and accurate tax required information. Legal accounting and any other professional fee that may be incurred along with because of the home business can also be calculated to be included in the tax relief claim. Communication tools can also be calculated into the claims exercise. This is contributing factor that is part of the business engine. Utility and rental can also be including. However, this may be little complicated as the premise is also being used for the other purpose such as a dribbling place. There is also a section that is termed and miscalculation. Miscellaneous can be used to calculate certain expense incurred during the course of the business. Some time meals and entertainments are noted in this section, but the reception printing the occasion should be yearly indicative of the region and who was present and why such the expense needed to the included. Though note, though not home-based business, there may be requirement to travel and such as calculations can and all should include this chapter 4. Maximize deduction. Synopsis. Being smart and savvy about how to manage the maximize deduction for tax exception is something that should be considered if the individual is interested in taking full advantage of the tax deduction possibilities. The home-based owner who is diligent about keeping track of every expense incurred during the course of the business will most likely be able to reap in the benefit when it comes paying less taxes. Maximizing. The following tips are noted of the maximization of the deduction, keeping track of all business expenses and ensuring the relevant documentation is available to match their claims is very important. Keeping a daily journal will prove to be very beneficial in the long run as it will more clearly show all activity, thus providing a more solid case toward and claim for relief. Crossing checking deduction against the different type of taxes will in some cases yield surprisingly positive result. Toward the end of the financially physically year, the individual should make a comparison of these different tax platform which would include deciding between state income tax deduction or state sales tax deduction and choose the one most suited and gain the relevant relief. Comparing, itemizing, and overall deduction may not always be the best of decision to make as in income case opting for more standard deduction filing may prove to be beneficial. Exploring the possibility of using different tax platforms for different dedication may also be plausible thing to do. Exploring beyond just a regular and customer possibility is another option to look into when trying to maximize deduction. Considering other unconventional areas that may allow tax exceptions such as medical and dental expenses, sales tax and personal property tax, educational expenses, damage caused by digest which is creeping to the particular home based and many others. Chapter 5. Claims your health insurance. Synopsis. Tax break for home business can also be gotten when filing on health insurance. This is not commonly practiced as most people are not aware that they can get a deduction and relief for this sort of expenses. This is especially designed to help the similarly startup business and this often provide a lot of relief for those applying under this criteria. Health costs. Tax claims for relief can be done on health insurance and also be certain medical expense incurred by the home business owner as an added help for the individual. Filing for such claims can help only be done if there are no other body paying out toward the medical claim submit for the tax relief. Claim also cannot be made if there is a possibility of the same claim being made in the compensated from the other parties. The could in some case be termed that fraud as payment for the same claim is being sought from different source. Other area that the home-based business owner may have be difficult is seeking the tax relief would be for routine medical and dental care which are not life-threatening in nature. Claims can be made on prevention, diagnosis, elevations, treatment, and several different platform or sections provided for within the middle perceptive. In the including element on injury of infirmity defect of the disability is it is not necessary to prove that these claims may be directly connected with the individual simple because her so was operating a home-based business. Other areas where a claim can be made would be such as doctors or consulting fee, diagnosis procedure which is often demanded to be carried out on advice for the medical personnel taking in the case. Drug and medications prescribed the doctor, dentist, medical consult and any physiotherapy or similar treatment that may be needed to right a medical problem. Chapter 6. Track mileage. Synopsis. Mileage can also be another avenue where tax exemption can be made to the benefit of the home-based business. As a good percentage of the business may require the individual to travel to meet client or customer, this form of relief can prove to be quite beneficial can rather substantial if claim are made and exploited to the maximum mileage. The current tax system does make allowance for expenses charged for traveling and this sum in the form mileage allowances payments. Under the system, the claim made on a paper mileage basic are not subject to income that taxes if they are paid below rate set by the governor body at the time. Even if the vehicle used at the time is also for personal transportation use the tax relief calculated on the trips which were solely done for business reason can be significant tax saving. Adding to this, there is also the overall future tax relief which can be gained to any mileage allowances payment made. This individual would have to calculate the total sum set aside in the tax year of such payment which will there be dedicated for total earning along the expense that attract the expense exemption possibility create the total tax liability for the year. Also to be noted is that the calculation are done on the total mileage allowances which has been set aside from the purpose of traveling for business purpose and not only the actually mileage used. Therefore, the tax relief enjoy can be more even the entire plan and expense is not fully utilized. For a more itemized directional help, it would be better to research available material on the subject to ensure that all possible angles are explored for the optimum saving possible from the tax on mileage incurred. Chapter 7. Use retirement accountants. Synopsis. In the quotes of explore various way to exploit in the tax relief system in the place the individual should spend some time exploring in the area of retirement accountants. This retirement accountant possibility presents some interesting and applicable point that encouraging the individual to save toward it because of the initiative giving through the tax relief system. Putting money aside. The reduced taxable income the home-based business owner can make contribution toward the traditional individual retirement account otherwise referred to as a IR. This contribution can then be used to file for some tax relief. The contribution can be made as late as the first due date of a tax return. This can also be used a restrictive contribution to the previous tax year. There are two types of retirement fund possible to choose from, which are the traditional IR and the Roth IR, or in some cases both may be used. This all dependent on the individual aspiration during the retirement phase in life. As this foresight for the well-being of the individual is also encouraged by any governing body. Assistance giving the firm tax relief is meant to instill this important thought for the future. Most people are eligible for such an allowance based in the earning income, and the IRR certainly encouraging this, as it also extends this facility to self-employed individual. However, there is any age limit which is anyone below the age of 75 years, unlike the Rath IR, which does not have any such stipulation. On order to facilitate claim made, there is no need to have extensive and itemized report attached to the claim. Simple use in a designated form for the relevant proposed bill suffer and facilitate the claim proposed. There are various levels of dedication which include full dedication, practical dedication, on entry dedication, and these are based on the variety of different factors. Chapter 8: Hire Family Members. Synopsis: surprising but good to know is the fact that hiring the family to work in the home-based business entity is not only a good idea but is also supported by the governing body of the time. This is clearly evident in the tax exemption put in the place to encourage the facility such undertaking. Final tips: beside the observed positive impact it can have when the family is encouraged to work together as seen in the past, there is also the advantage of the getting valuable tax relief. Family members can be an excellent source to tap into. There is certainly amount of respective compensation in the place to acknowledging this contribution. They can be trustworthy, dedicated, expensive, and other positive contributing characteristics to the business entity. To top it all, others is the initiative of making tax relief claims to each of the expense incurred throughout of employee of family members. There is no need to pay federal unemployment taxes, and there is also relief for withholding income tax and paying payroll tax, and this also takes into account of the not having to pay social security either until the age for, of 18 in the case of minor being employed. The insurance taken out of the family members are contributing to the working of the business can also be cheaper and better, with the added advantage of further tax relief in this area. Warping off. It is a no fact that is something hard to find tax exemption exception outlet for similar home-based business as compared with larger corporation with a give generally enjoy tax rebate is in the big bay. This is simple because the larger entities are more aware of the tax paying right and then individual running the home-based business. Therefore, it is important to spend some the exploring the possibility of seeking this form of tax relief.